This video is brought to you guys by BetUS. All your betting needs, BetUS has them. Listen, the Cowboys opened as 6-point dogs versus the Cincinnati Bengals. I know Cincinnati has a great offense. They do. The Bengals have a great offense. But if it's me, and I told you guys, I'm going to stay away from giving you guys advice. But listen, I'm taking Dallas with 6 versus the Bengals. I don't think they could block us up front. They have a great offense. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, you name it. I mean, even Jermaine Burton gets involved. I watched the game. But I just got to feel that this Cowboys defense, if nothing else, is going to make life hard on Joe Burrow. So, BetUS. Thank you so much for sponsoring this channel. BetUS, all your betting needs, all sports. Tap in with them. Now, I want to talk about these Cowboys tight ends, Brevyn Spann-Ford, coming out of Minnesota, Luke Schoonmaker, who we all kind of, Mike, why the Luke Schoonmaker pick from Michigan? Both of these guys over the last 3 to 4 weeks have really shown and proved that if nothing else, they could be reliable. They could do the little things. And one thing, well, a couple things that I really want to point out is how physical they are, how much they're helping on outside runs and what I call lock calls on these DNs. And I'll go over that when I get to the film, but I really like what these guys bring. Brevyn Spann-Ford has something that you can't coach. He's 6'8", and he's a true 6'8". In the Washington game, he got up the seam. He's a big target for Cooper Rush and kind of a security blanket. And Luke Schoonmaker has just caught everything, run those stick routes that Jason Witten used to make a lot of money on. Listen, Jason Witten's career was a stick route. That's what his career was. He wasn't running past anybody. He was a dominant blocker, and his career was a stick route type of guy. When the Cowboys drafted when the Cowboys drafted Luke Schoonmaker out of Michigan, this is kind of what they envisioned. They envisioned this guy being a guy who can get up the seams, has some pass catching upside, and he hasn't done anything amazingly special, but he's been reliable, and it's been like a pleasant surprise to see him kind of come on. Let's get to the film. So, what the Cowboys are doing a lot with Brevyn and Luke, they're putting them on the same side in these big personnel packages. Some of these same packages that gave Dan Quinn issues last year, and you're starting to see some of these things come back in the league as teams want to run the ball more on the edge. The Packers do this a lot with both their tight ends. I think the Cowboys are going to lean more into this. This is 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, 1 running back, 2 receivers. And, again, one thing that you have to be able to do if you're going to be a tight end in this league and you're not the pass-catching threat, you have to block. Look at that backside cutoff right there. Now, look how square Brevyn is. And what it is, when you're running weak zone, you're going to press front side, okay? Because why are we pressing front side? Well, the strength is set to the backside because that's where more of the blockers are. So their strength is set to the backside. So we want to press front side. Rico press. Let's look for that cutback lane right there. And you don't get that cutback lane without Brevyn Spann-Ford. That's a great block. Finishing that block, and he's square. Like he's in the action. Again, this is another play of him being in the action. Terrence Steele, is that Hoffman? Yeah, Terrence Steele, Brock Hoffman getting a great double team. Watch how he kicks Brian Burns, and then he goes and looks for work on 31. One of my favorite plays. Let's get this double team. Let's make sure we get movement. Boom, got movement. Let's vertically displace him. Let's get him out the way. Let's backside lock this and then go look for work on 31. Now, he made a tackle, but we're in the end zone, so we live. Again, another weak run. Boom, let's lock. Now, Luke Schoonmaker doesn't quite get that lock like Brevyn did, but he got enough. And that's what you're looking for. You're just looking for these guys to grow within a scheme and be useful. Now, here we go. 3 over 2. Why is there 3 over 2 in this coverage? I don't know if it's cover 8, cover 6, whatever the coverage is. You know, you defensive guys, you can jump in here. But I know that there's 3 over 2. And if I'm reading this numbers-wise, guess what? Luke Schoonmaker has to be able to win on this little stick route. And there's 3 over 2 because CeeDee Lamb is up there. So we're going to get personal with CeeDee Lamb. We want to get in his face. Cool. Luke, go win on this out. Like you did that at Michigan. Go sit down at the sticks. Go catch the ball. And I think Cooper Rush trusts him in that way, as he should. Big body. Again, here. Big body. Get across the DB's face. He's too small for you. You're 6'6". Catch the football. Do that over and over and over again. Like, be reliable in that way. And I think that if he can continue to do that, he'll be on the field for a long time. I mean, he's a big body. He comes from a scheme at Michigan where they ran the ball consistently. Like, that's what Michigan wants to do. They want to win in that way. Again, stick concept. 3/2 to CeeDee Lamb's side. So whatever covers, and this is, I always read this as a trap cover. So whether it's cover 2, cover 3, they're trying to trap you in some sort of way to make sure that CeeDee Lamb doesn't get the ball or however they have it set up. Cool. Let's just take the stick up top. Go sit down. And again, when you run these big personnel groupings, and because you have athletes like CeeDee Lamb on the field, teams just forget about a guy like Luke Schoonmaker. All right, this is against Washington. They just forgot about him. This is a 25-yard gain because they forgot about him. This is wide leak. All right, that's just a wide leak. Again, hand in the dirt. We know that Dan Quinn likes to lean into cover 3. I mean, we had Dan Quinn over here, so I don't know if this is 3 per se because he does have those 2 safeties high. But nonetheless, they just release him up the seams. And this is Brevyn Spann-Ford. You forget about him. Big body, 6'8". Throw the ball. I would like him to do a little bit more after the catch. Like, let's not go down that easily. But again, here, watch what he does on a snap. This is what CeeDee Lamb does to a defense. Runs over, make sure that CeeDee Lamb is okay, cool. We'll throw the ball right past your ear up the seam. And so when you see some of these things on film, to me, it's nothing major. So when you see some of these things on film, honestly, it's just building blocks. Like, it's not like that we're putting Brevyn Spann-Ford or Luke Schoonmaker in the Hall of Fame. They're not going to the Hall of Fame. But you see the consistency. You see these guys look like NFL pros. You see these guys look like something. And that's the part that I say, okay, maybe next year you can build around the run game on the edges with Brevyn, with Luke Schoonmaker. I'll tell you this, both of those guys are better blockers than Jake Ferguson. They move people. They're a little bit more physical. If they can get considerably better in the passing game and keep growing there, and Dak sees this, or whoever's playing quarterback sees this, and you use these guys, I think you may have something. It's cool to see these guys develop. You guys let me know what you think of this video. It's your boy Foots as always. Thank you guys for liking, sharing, and subscribing. We're at 36K, y'all. We're at 36K. Subscribe, and let's get this thing to 37, and then 40, and then 50. Peace.